Learning Center not only helps students to get ahead in perhaps one assessment task, but the aim is to, prepare them so perhaps they don't need to come back. They can be more independent
Exactly.
and confident in what they do. So that's yeah, wonderful. So getting to a key question that our students love asking, and that is, if you could give one advice to students in relation to the way they write or academic life in general, what would that advice be? Maybe I'll start with you, Sophia.
I think my current advice would be, and this is related, it's very connected to your academics, but it's not an academic tip. It's to actually look after your health, particularly sleep. I think there's a lot of, everyone's like, oh yeah, I stayed up doing an all-nighter, at least in my first year, I stayed up doing an all-nighter doing this assignment, or I studied till 11 p.m. Wow, I'm so hardworking. But actually, no, just go to sleep. It's so important, and it's really easy to convince yourself that, oh yes, I run on 5 hours sleep, 6 hours sleep, and it's fine because your body gets used to it. But in reality, you need those 7 to 9. Especially when I turned 20, that's really when I felt like I can't pull all-nighters anymore. So get your sleep, especially, if you're in first year starting to develop those habits of like dimming your lights at night, or having like a night routine, packing your bags for the next morning. I think it's really valuable, and it definitely helped my academics. Like you don't feel like it does, but it does, because it helps you focus when you're actually studying rather than multitasking or losing focus. So yeah, sleep.
I think the right amount of sleep is so important, definitely. I know when I don't get the right amount, either I get a headache or I can't concentrate. So I think 1 hour of studying with full concentration can definitely be better than perhaps 3 hours where you're trying to focus, making yourself coffee, trying to wake up. So great piece of advice. Thanks, Sophia. Will, what would you say?
Oh, look, I totally agree with Sophia, and there are tons of pieces of advice I could give. One thing I would like to emphasize, though, and I think it's something people forget a lot, is the importance of just reading. Keep up your reading for pleasure, reading novels, not just your readings for your academic courses. If you read in your spare time, it makes you a better writer, and so when you come to do your assignments, you'll get better marks and you'll write more easily. And also with your coursework, you can do the readings much more easily. One thing students struggle with a lot, I've found, is keeping on top of their readings. I don't know of anyone who hasn't struggled with that at some point, and doing just your own reading for pleasure will really, really help with that. So keep it up.
Wonderful advice. I mean, I think reading for leisure can also definitely act as a stress buster if you're reading the right things.
Oh,
And it can
absolutely, yeah.
definitely help with so many different, different dimensions of our lives as students, as people. So such great pieces of advice. Thanks, guys. And finally, as our last question for the interview today, why should students come and book an appointment with you at Academic Skills? Maybe I'll just ask one last final comment from Will and Sophia, even though you have touched on this a little bit, but just as a concluding remark. Sophia, you?
I think putting myself back in my first year shoes, sorry, the best thing I ever did was make friends with a bunch of third years, and then have them tell me what not to do, because they've said, don't do this, you're going to regret it. And I thought, I'm not going to listen to you. So I made all their mistakes, and then now I get to tell first years, don't do this. And, luckily a lot of the people that come to us are better than me in first year, and they're actually willing to learn. And so it's an opportunity to learn from people like us who have made the mistakes, who have been there before, and have actually worked really hard to figure out strategies that work. So it's an opportunity to learn from our mistakes so you don't have to make them yourself.
Wonderful. Definitely learn from the people who've made the mistakes before. Don't wait to make the mistakes yourself. Will, what would you say? Why should people come and see the Academic Skills Centre?
Oh, I totally agree with Sophia. Pretty much the same thing. As a first year, I didn't go and seek out help when I was unsure of something. And frankly, there was no point to that. Everyone here has gone through the same thing. And we're here for free to give advice. Don't try and struggle through on your own. Why not come and see us? It's very easy to come and just drop in. You don't have to book an appointment, and just come and have a chat for 10 minutes, and we can really help.
Absolutely. I mean, if the help is there available, just maybe, what I would say to students is perhaps just give it a go. It's and it's quite easy now because I understand the drop-in sessions are via Zoom, so you don't actually even have to go in person. So you may as well. So thank you so much for your time today, Will and Sophia. It's been a pleasure talking to you, and I know students would greatly appreciate all of the advice and all of the insights you've given us today. All the best with the peer writing service, and we'll catch you next time.
Thank you, Ebony.
Thanks, Ebony.
Thank you.